Welcome everyone to the final round of the secondary bracket in the Kanto True Power Tournament. We are exceptionally close to finding out who will be challenging our champion in the grand final. Last time we witnessed an absolutely insane battle between Red, the former Indigo Plateau champion, and Lance, the current Indigo Plateau champion, and I don't even know what to say here. This battle was one for the ages. Today we'll be witnessing another historic match as Red takes on his very own mentor, Professor Oak. Oak started Red on his journey decades ago, and now Red has risen to challenge him in an ultimate battle using their best teams. Will the Master put the Apprentice in his place, or will the Apprentice overcome the Master? Let's head to the team previews to see how this might go down. Now when it comes to their teams, there's not a whole lot to say. Both teams are exceptionally balanced and are of course among the best teams in the whole tournament. As for trying to take the advantage, both trainers are going to have to utilize the Pokemon on their team that are unique to their team. For Red, that's going to be Charizard, Snorlax, and Machamp, and for Oak, that's going to be Mew, Gyarados, and Dragonite. Word has arrived that our trainers are ready for the showdown, so let's get down to the stadium to watch this match of generations unfold. It's finally time, one of the most exciting matches we've had so far. We've got Professor Oak versus Red, Master versus Apprentice. Red starting off with the Blastoise, a good lead from him as always, whereas Oak's going to start off with the Mew, the elusive Mew. One of the Pokemon that Red could of course not catch for his Pokedex. Oak trying to throw off Red here a little bit perhaps with that Mew send out, but now the Mew going for the Stealth Rock. Stealth Rock is a very dangerous move for Red's team, but Blastoise going for the Rapid Spin right away. Are you kidding me? Wow, Red predicting the Stealth Rock, immediately going for the Rapid Spin as his first move. Who would have thought? Now Mew is going to recover his health with the leftovers, of course, and now Red is going to switch out his Blastoise into the Charizard. Charizard coming out for Red's side of the field, and the Mew is going to go for the knockoff. Oh, what a switch by Red, because of course the Charizard does have the Mega Stone, the Charizardite Y, which cannot be knocked off. Perhaps Red predicting that as well. What a play there. Mega Charizard Y is now on the field. So we've got a Mega versus Mew. What a face-off this is. Charizard will, of course, start the Drought. So Drought is going to power up its Fire-type moves. And now Charizard going for the Air Slash. Perhaps Red was thinking that Oak might switch into a Water-type. But of course now the Mew will flinch to the Air Slash. Air Slash still doing a decent amount of damage. But Mew will, of course, recover a little health. That flinch was crucial, though. And now Charizard going for the Flamethrower. That's going to be even more powerful under the sun than the Air Slash was. But oh, Mew surviving with 2 HP, and it does get burned though. And Mew Synchronized will not be able to give the burn back to the Charizard. Charizard is of course Fire type, and now the Stealth Rock coming back out from the Mew. So Mew wants to get those Stealth Rocks up, and perhaps Oak is trying to stall out the sun a little bit here too, because he does have a couple good options to switch in against Charizard, especially if the sun is not up. And now Mew left with 2 HP, looks like it will get outsped, and the Charizard is going to take it down with the Air Slash. So Mew going down, just trying desperately to get that Stealth Rock up. Of course the flinch did not help, but it did stall out a little bit. There's nothing much that Oak could send in against a Charizard, or switch in against a Charizard rather, but now his Gyarados coming out on the field from Oak's side, and Red is going to be forced to switch here into the Blastoise. Now Blastoise is a big threat for Oak's team overall. It walls a lot of his Pokemon, but now the Gyarados going for the Dragon Dance, trying to power up here. The sun is still up, so water type moves will be not very effective, but of course both Pokemon on the field are water types already, so not a big factor there, and it should be going down relatively soon as well. So Gyarados now going for the bounce. That's going to be a super powered stab move against the Blastoise with Dragon Dance, and Blastoise going for the Toxic, but it actually misses because the Gyarados is in the air, so a good play there from Oak. Red perhaps not anticipating that, and now the bounce will come down on the Blastoise. We'll have to see how much this can do. Blastoise is very physically defensive, and it's going to do a little bit less than half, so it won't be a 2-hit KO, and the Blastoise now inevitably able to get up the Toxic because the Gyarados had to come down at some point. Now Gyarados is on a timer, and it does have the Dragon Dance though, so it is super powered, but we'll have to see what Oak wants to do. He'd be pretty well advised to not go for Bounce now is the only problem, because Bounce will be a 2-turn attack, and that just means more Toxic damage, so he is going to go for the Waterfall here, doing some good damage here on the Blastoise. It was a crit, but it perhaps might have been a 2-hit KO nonetheless. We'll see. The Rapid Spin now coming out on the Blastoise, so this opened up an opportunity for Red to get rid of those Stealth Rocks, which is not a good thing for Oak though. And now the Gyarados getting hurt by that poison, of course, is racking up damage every turn. And now the Blastoise is going to have to tank a waterfall. Can it survive it, though? Oh, it does, just barely. And Blastoise going for the Ice Beam now. That should do a decent amount of damage on Gyarados. Any damage is, of course, some good damage when it comes to Toxic. And now the Blastoise is very low health, should be able to be taken down on the next turn if Red does not switch. But of course, what are you going to switch into? A Dragon Danced Gyarados. Yeah, so the Gyarados is going to go for the waterfall and take down Red's Blastoise. So one of the biggest threats on Red's team for Oak's team is now taken down. But of course, Gyarados is getting really hurt by that poison. 25 HP left over. Red sending out the Arcanine now. Arcanine, of course, does have a priority move in that extreme speed, and the Intimidate will lower Gyarados' attack nonetheless. So let's see if... No! Oak is actually going to switch out the Gyarados, perhaps going to tank the extreme speed with the Blastoise. Now, Arcanine coming in with the extreme speed. How much will this do on Blastoise? Not a whole lot. And of course, Oak's Blastoise does have the leftovers as well. So Blastoise recovering a little bit of its health as well. So now Arcanine all of a sudden is in a little bit of a tricky position, and now Red is going to switch out into the Venusaur. Perhaps could have gone for Wild Charge, but of course does not want to take something like the Scald. The Scald is coming in here now, and the Venusaur is going to tank that really well. A good switch there from Red for sure. Blastoise getting a little bit more recovery, but is now in a very troublesome position, and Venusaur is a good counter for Oak's team as well. Oak's team does not deal well with a few of Red's starter Pokemon, actually, ironically enough, and the Blastoise is going to be switched out. Oak is going to switch out into the Arcanine. Arcanine is a good switch against, of course, a Venusaur, but the Venusaur really doesn't have much that it can do against Arcanine. Going for the Leech Seed now, but oh, the Arcanine avoids the attack. The Leech Seed does not land. That would have been a crucial, really good play. But now Red is going to be forced to withdraw. He does not want to take a Flare Blitz from an Arcanine after all, and sending out his own Arcanine, which will have Intimidate, so a good switch there, lowering the Arcanine's attack, and Oak's Arcanine actually going for the Wild Charge here, so predicting the switch and getting a huge amount of damage off. That was a crit on Red's Arcanine. Wow, what a move that was, getting a little bit of recoil damage and Life Orb damage, of course. And now Oak's Arcanine all of a sudden able to go for the extreme speed and take down Red's Arcanine without Red's Arcanine making a single move there. Wow, what a play there from Oak. The prediction followed by the priority move. And now Red is going to send out his Machamp. Machamp is very physically bulky, of course. Arcanine is going to switch out. It did have his attack lowered, actually, by the previous Arcanine. And now, oh, Oak using the Gyarados, the low health Gyarados, for the Intimidate on the Machamp, perhaps trying to get some momentum against Machamp here. The Machamp will be able to take it down with Dynamic Punch, of course, but its attack will be lowered, leaving a little bit of room for Oak to come in with something cool here. He's going to go in with the Blastoise. Blastoise is a very good physically defensive wall that might be, yeah, that's going to force the switch on the Machamp, and Red's going to send out the Venusaur now. So perhaps Oak predicting that. Yes, he did predict it with the Ice Beam. The Ice Beam coming in on the Venusaur. Super effective. And oh, the Venusaur is going to get frozen there. So an amazing prediction followed by a little bit of luck there from Oak's side. And actually, the Venusaur is going to be frozen now. So all of a sudden, the momentum seems to have changed a little bit. Both players have 4 Pokemon left. And now the Blastoise being switched out, actually. Yeah, the Ice Beam would have been good against Venusaur, but if Venusaur woke up at all with the Giga Drain, that would have been the end of Blastoise, and it would have made back all of its health. So Oak deciding to take advantage of the situation, realizing he has to switch, and sending out the Dragonite, perhaps to try and set up, yes, the Dragon Dance. He's setting up the Dragon Dance on the Dragonite, of course. That's going to raise its attack and its speed as well. So this is, all of a sudden, this is really dangerous for Red. His Venusaur is staying frozen, and now Dragonite has all the momentum in the world to perhaps start a sweep here, going for the Outrage on the Venusaur. Will that take it out? Oh, it does! A one-hit KO there, basically, for the Outrage on the Dragonite, and Dragonite is still full health with the multi-scale ability, so that is very dangerous. Machamp now being sent out. It is very physically defensive. but it has to tank a Dragon Dance Outrage. No, it's not even able to take that. The Machamp going down as well to the Outrage, but now the Dragonite is confused, of course. So Red perhaps needs to really capitalize on this opportunity, going for the Snorlax. He needs to redeem himself a little bit here because this Dragonite is absolutely terrifying. But let's see. Oh, it is going to hit itself in confusion. So this has opened up a little bit of an opportunity for Red here. He needs to take advantage of this, going for the Curse on the Snorlax. That will increase its attack and defense. A very good play there. While he's able to, he needs to raise that defense and perhaps get some offensive damage done on this Dragonite. Dragonite restoring a little bit of his health with the leftovers, of course, but now it is confused as well. Will it be able to get a hit off here? No, it hits itself again. So here comes Red. He is going to be able to go in with the Body Slam on the Dragonite and power it up too. Yes, that's going to take down the Dragonite, neutralizing the threat. A little bit of luck there with that confusion too, but making a good decision to go in with Snorlax and actually power it up a little bit. But now Arcanine coming in with the Intimidate, so that attack raise is actually going to be neutralized by that Intimidate, and Arcanine coming in with the close combat. That should do some good damage, a little bit over half on a Cursed Snorlax. That is impressive right there. But now Arcanine's defense and special defense will be lowered. Oak realizing perhaps he just needs to get some good damage off on that Snorlax and maybe sacrificing that Arcanine. Arcanine is bulky, but I don't know. It can't take a Body Slam from Snorlax. That is going to be the end of the Arcanine. Now, Oak has to make a good decision here to try and handle this Snorlax somehow. He doesn't have much remaining. He, of course, has 2 Pokemon left, and he's going to send out his Blastoise. Blastoise is another very bulky, very defensive threat, so both players with 2 Pokemon remaining, and Blastoise going for the Toxic. That's a good move there, putting the Snorlax on a timer regardless of what it is able to do. And Blastoise is, of course, very physically defensive. Let's see what the Body Slam is able to do. We have to watch out for the Paralysis, too. No Paralysis, and doesn't do that much damage, especially after leftovers. So both players with a very bulky and very powerful Pokemon on the field. And the Snorlax is going to get hurt by that poison, of course, a little bit. Both players do have leftovers on their Pokemon. So this might be a little bit of a stall fest here. We'll have to see what the Blastoise is able to do with Scald. Not too much, but that poison is racking up turn by turn. Another Body Slam coming in from the Snorlax, and it does paralyze. That is key right there for Red. Red perhaps getting a little bit of luck of his own here, and Blastoise restoring a little bit of health back up to half. But now the Snorlax is going to restore health, but the poison, of course, is going to do some substantial damage. Snorlax looks like it might be able to tank. Ooh, perhaps one more Scald, perhaps not, but the Blastoise is going to be paralyzed. Uh-oh, Snorlax going for Body Slam again. Blastoise will not be able to take one more of those. That was a crit, but it is a 2-hit KO nonetheless. So now both players 1 hit away from taking down each other's Pokemon. Let's see what happens here. Can the Blastoise break through Paralysis? Snorlax getting some big poison damage now. It all depends if this Blastoise can break through. It does, going for the Scald. Can the Snorlax survive and get one more hit off? Yes, it does survive. And it looks like it will be able to go for the Body Slam to take down the Blastoise. But of course, Snorlax will itself succumb to the poison, it looks like. Leftovers recovery. And yeah, there's no way he's going to come back from that. The poison will take down the Snorlax too, so both defensive threats going down on either side of the field. What a battle that was, and now Oak left with his Venusaur, and Red actually left with his Charizard now, so 2 starters. Charizard, of course, the Charmander that Oak once gave Red. Now, if Venusaur does have the Overgrow ability, and it survives this Flamethrower, probably the Flamethrower, yes, the Flamethrower, if it survives, it all depends if it can survive this Flamethrower. No! The Venusaur going down to the Flamethrower. Supercharged Flamethrower in the sun from Mega Charizard. Red defeating Oak with the very Pokemon that he gave him to start his journey. How poetic is that? What an amazing battle that was. Really strategic. Very bulky teams on both sides, really. But they do have some offensive threats against one another. But Red ultimately able to pull off the battle with his Mega Charizard Y and moving to the final round. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss the next matches. Before we go, I'd like to thank the patrons who are making this tournament possible. If you guys want to help further this series' potential and support it, the link to my Patreon page will be in the description below. That's all for this one. This has been SilphSpectre, and I'll see you guys next time for more True Power.